When I see atheists having conversations with less polished theists, less experienced apologists, the theists will often start with, why don't you guys believe in God? And why do you guys believe there's no God? Something like that triggers the atheist saying, well, I don't believe there's no God. I don't believe there is a God. And then there's often an awkward pause like we're having, where and I want to scream at the atheist that some people don't understand this nuance, especially the less experienced apologists and a lot of less experienced atheist fans of atheist media don't understand this nuanced difference between not believing there is no God and not believing there is a God. So my question is, why not? What's wrong with just accepting the term agnostic just for a minute and saying, look, there's this colloquial understanding of agnostic, and that's kind of what we are, and then go on to kind of explain the nuance instead of kind of letting the theist sort of barrel forward on their script and with this misunderstanding.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a better way of explaining it, to be sure. Right. One of the things. Oh, sorry.
I didn't mean to.
No. Go.
No. And agnostic, if you're saying you don't know the answer, then you're saying, well, then why even try? I'm agnostic about the sun coming up tomorrow. I don't know if it is. I can't prove it or anything. But if I live my life like, well, the sun might not come up tomorrow, so why get up? You know. So an atheist, you then make the decision. Yes, the evidence for God does not exist. It's not that the God doesn't exist, the evidence for him does not exist. So, so it makes decisions, your life decisions easier if you go on like, well, if you're saying you don't know the answer, then it's kind of hard to make decisions.
Yeah, you have to, basically you end up living your life on the assumption like, well, I can't respond to things that I don't hold the belief that they exist, right?
Yeah. I mean...
Like lizard people.
I find this distinction in other areas. I've talked to people who use that same kind of colloquial generalization until you start talking about the specifics, like when discussing sex and gender, right? There's a difference when you're talking about it in that context, but colloquially, people have interchanged those, and it's changing now, but yeah, the atheist and agnostic thing, when I talk to somebody who doesn't really know the definition of atheist the way that we're all using it, and they say agnostic, I'm excited to be able to say, hey, actually, you know, when you're having this discussion, you can have a more in-depth discussion. You can be able to really ferret out the differences when we start using these more clearly defined definitions of atheist and agnostic. And honestly, I don't know about you guys, but if somebody wants to call themselves agnostic and they're atheist, I really don't give a fuck.
It doesn't mean that much to me.
David Silverman just
yeah, I mean,
well,
if you know how to get David Silverman on our show.
I understand the desire to have everybody kind of, rather than having some folks you know voting for Ralph Nader and some folks voting for Al Gore and some folks voting for a sixth party and everybody kind of splitting the vote. I understand why. I understand the desire to kind of have everybody on the same
atheist level.
Yeah, all in the same parade, goose stepping in line. I got you.
I like the you know, NONES is it's heading in the right direction. But yeah, I just called to kind of speak up for us non-public media atheists to remember that not everybody understands that nuance just because it rattles off of your tongue.
Exactly. You know what term I actually really want to fight for? Secular. Do you know how many people still don't know what secular means?
A lot. But I mean, it's
not
specific to non-belief, right? Like no,
it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
But just
I mean,
not related to religion, and it's secular, and yet people look at secular as if it is in opposition to religion when the fact is I don't know a religious way to brush your teeth. I don't know a religious way to...
If you do, email us.
I don't know a religious way to drive my car. I don't know a religious way to...
take the wheel. No, okay.
Yeah, and in that way, it's a secular thing, and people think that secular means evil when the fact is we live in a secular world. So I actually think that I'm a little more aggressive about that term because I really want to use that term. It's an important term for me.
Yeah, because we're living in a secular world, and I am a secular human. I don't know. I didn't know how to get the Madonna song for the...
Oh, I was wondering where he was going.
Ha-ha! Yeah. Let me explain the joke I was trying to tell, and then someone somewhere will laugh.
But I've had contact with the Secular Humanist group, and they're a wonderful group, and they're very atheist friendly.
Yeah, as it were, yeah. But I feel like one of the advantages of using this word and finding its distinct meaning as well is that I don't see a reason, and obviously it depends on the Secular Humanist group, that a person that wanted to be some kind of member and help out when they were doing humanist stuff that was a Christian humanist could do whatever. Because also, what do you mean by Christian? There's more than a billion kinds.
Yeah.
Depends on the person. Although, you know.
Well, that's what I liked about the Secular Humanists. It removed the religion out of the question. When you see atheist group, then people start talking. And I didn't
Where you get your morals from.
Yeah, I didn't come out being an atheist to talk religion. I'm past that. And, I did the show for 2 years, and I got really kind of tired of talking religion. So, like I said, that's why I generated towards the Secular Humanists, because I did like the idea of just bypassing religion altogether, and there's no place for it, and we can do great things without it, and
some might even say better things.
And better things, exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Less rapey, waste of money things.
But we just have to be careful that way lies euphemism, and it could be argued that certain terms sound like we have something to hide from, and we're hiding from it.
Yeah.
But I understand that once people understand what underlies the term, that then everyone can finally pile onto the term that was once so loaded as to preclude intellectually honest, productive conversation.
That's true.
Namely, atheist.
Yeah. I mean, that, and if there was ever an era where you could introduce new vocabulary to describe distinct ideas, it's this era where new labels every day. Like,
I mean, what was that?
That makes it sound like I'm complaining.
We have so many more words in the English language than even Shakespeare had access to. It's like 2-3 times as many words. It's ridiculous.
I know. I want to take a selfie with that number.
I have not
put
heard
it on Facebook, Instagram, Google. What? Sorry.
No. You guys are. I have my dictionary here, and my dictionary defines atheist the way I want. So you guys are atheists, whether you like it or not, because I have a dictionary that says so.
I will not be labeled, sir.
I will fight your dictionary. No, I think we ran over. You were gearing up to say something.
Okay. You're fine. Thanks.
Hey.
You guys guys have such great banter. You're doing a great job on the show there. Yeah, so I'm just riding along.
We're happy you're here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That's a fist bump moment. Right
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. All right.
And those must be
thanks for all your work.
For the.
Hey, thank you, Nick.
Have a good show, guys. Yeah. And I guess it's time to move along to the next caller here.
I think so.
I think so. You take care, brother.
Stay in touch. Email, Twitter, you know the drill. Okay.